Hey, 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 it's Motivational Monday. How's everybody doing out there? It is Monday, Monday, Monday. You know what that means? It's motivation time. It's me, and that man you see right there, the one and only talent. We come in here every Monday. We try to get y'all motivated for what's to come for your week. And we usually start off with recapping what our weekends was like. So let me ask that cat over there. T, salute,
Salute, King.
welcome.
Well,
How was the weekend?
you bore witness to a lot of my shenanigans this weekend.
Did-
Shout out to everybody that came out the whole week because it was nonstop from Tuesday to Saturday. I'm just glad that a lot of it was here in our backyard. So shout out to everybody that came out to Jersey to Arugas, which reminds me, we got a big event coming up, so check the website. But Arugas, all the people that came out was dope, from the comedians to the audience. Couldn't ask for a better thing. To the DJ, I haven't seen the DJ in years. Then Saturday we went over to Queens to the Black Spectrum Theater with a whole different lineup. So over there you had Bruh Man from the Fifth Floor performing. You had my man Walt Wiz from Black Ink Crew. You had Mugga from the TV show Manifest. You had who was on the show? Ray DeJean 30th anniversary video music box. And then my man Aldo stopped through. He gave him 10 minutes. Then he DJ. I mean, it was just dope all around. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the weekend was stupendous, man. I'm looking forward to hopefully, having more fun continue. That it was so crazy and overwhelming. Amir, Sunday I ain't move.
I ain't even mad at you. Now, to show you, to your point, first and foremost, I had the opportunity, like you said, of hanging out with him and the crew on Friday night. What was that? North Plainfield of the Rugas. First of
Yep.
all, if you haven't been, y'all need to check the spot out. Incredible, incredible spot. Sports bar slash room. It's dope. It's dope. You'll have a good time. The food is off the chain, and the people are even nicer. Very, very beautiful, beautiful spot. So please, if y'all haven't had the chance, check it out. But bigger than that, I got the chance to meet Mike Sean, which was dope. Met him at
Right.
that.
Face to face.
So got a chance to meet him, JP Justice, and some of the JP Justice in particular. I hadn't seen him in years. Another
Right.
cat that goes back. I always I always laugh because so many people again do and don't know how close I am to you guys in the comedy world based off of just having been around a lot of y'all from the beginning and watching everybody's comedy blossom into what it's blossomed into. The fun thing though, but a fun fact, and we got out of there, and I think I didn't get home till 3 in the morning after leaving you Saturday morning. I had to get up because I had to support my best friend. One of my best friends in the last 6 months, he lost his wife and his mother-in-law,
Oh, sorry to
and
hear that.
my actual best friend. And I knew I had to be there for that, and I want to get into something from that whole thing that we went through Saturday that I find motivating. He did something that, first of all, was unheard of and unseen in a funeral ever. I've never seen anybody pull a stunt like this, but I can't even call it a stunt because that's who he is. That's the kind of brother he is. That's how
Right.
he gets down. So it just was something that truly amazed me in how he went about what he did. And like I said, at some point, I hope to get into that. But mad
Well,
shout
go
out
ahead.
to
Roll right into it. We got our guest. Our guest will be in soon.
being soon.
Matter of
So
fact, we got time, so at least another
okay,
10 minutes going to it.
10 minutes.
And yeah, and I want to tell Prophet Pete. Prophet Pete, text me on the 917 number when our guest gets in because I don't really read the feed thing, but we
So
got a special guest coming in today. Go ahead.
So just to let you guys know. So like I said, my best friend unfortunately lost his, like I said, his wife and his mother-in-law lost in the last 6 months. The bigger picture is he was married for 29 years. He buried the father-in-law, the mother-in-law, and his wife. So that's how bananas this whole situation was. But from it, or at the funeral, he did something, like I said, that was unprecedented to me. So, normally you go to funerals, you have the pastor speak, they give the eulogy, people get up, they speak about the family, so forth and so on. And he allowed all of that. It was an absolutely beautiful ceremony. Everybody was in rare form. And what made me so enamored by what he did was he took time at the very end. This was after the eulogy had been done and everything, and the pastor allowed him to speak. And he said, I want to take a moment, first off, to thank all of the people who have sort of helped me get through this moment. He said, often we always hear about how people are perceived to be strong. And it doesn't make a difference if it's a death in the family or anything for that matter. But, we've all been in moments where, everybody's calling up. They're like, oh, you're so strong. And, oh my God, and praises to you and this and that and the third. But I think what we don't understand a lot of times is the strength that usually those people are exuding are coming from the people who care enough to check in on them and to check and to make sure that they're okay. So what he did was he thanked all of the people who had been doing that leading up to him losing his mother-in-law. But here's where it took a twist. For some of you might think it's funny, some of you might think it's crazy, but I thought it was super powerful because I think this is something that we go through, and this is why I brought it up on Motivational Monday. He went on to speak and say, we all, again, think about how strong people are in those moments. And we're all thankful for the people who help us get through those moments. He said, but the thing that really gets to us is the fact that at the same time, there are people who might be trying to do things that are detrimental to us. And we never talk about that. When people pass, we always talk about the good. Oh, this person was a great this. They were a great cook. They were a good listener. They were all these things. But we never talk about any of the bad stuff. We kind of just gloss over that, act like it didn't happen. In this particular case, it wasn't a matter of the mother-in-law having or done anything bad. It was a matter of the family members of her family having done some stuff that was unfortunate because my boy was going through mourning his wife while trying to take care of his mother-in-law, which for him was the last request of his wife as she was dying. So that was double duty when you really think about it. But long story short, he goes on to, during the funeral, my boy always says the other F word. And when he says the other F word, he means friends and family. So he said, I'm speaking to the other F word in this particular case. He said, you guys didn't give me the opportunity to mourn my wife like I would have liked to. You chose to make things a little bit difficult for me as I was going through that period. So I have some choice words for you. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your thoughts. Fuck how you feel. Fuck out of here. He was like, basically, all of y'all who really didn't give me the opportunity to carry this thing out the way that it should have been, fuck you. Now, the reason why I bring that up as motivational is because we've all found ourselves in these situations. We have friends and family who at times who have, come to us and pushed our buttons at all the wrong time. And we never really get the chance to tell them about themselves. Not all of us, but a good portion of us kind of, this isn't the right time. There's never such thing as a right time. Sometimes you just got to tell people what the fuck it is. And in this particular case, that's what made this thing so special because literally the joint was streamed. He didn't name names, but he said, gender doesn't matter to me, age doesn't matter to me. And if you know anything about me and my man, when we always joke, we always say, you can get it cripple it crazy, 8 to 80. We don't care about none of that stuff. If you get on our nerves, you can catch this tongue lashing. So I told him what made me smile was I'm in the audience and I'm listening to him say these things, but what made it even better was he emptied the whole clip. And I know he needed to because of everything that was being said and done leading up to him putting his mother in the ground, his mother-in-law in the ground. And I think that, sometimes, like I said, we all find ourselves in that same position, but we don't do anything or ever say anything about it. We kind of, let it ride, or we say, you know what, I'll address it later. My man, he's not that guy. He told everybody before he even got into the tirade, he said, hey, you know how you have those things on your mind that you want to say? I'm the dude who'll say them. And he sure enough did. So for me, the reason why I'm saying that's a motivating thing, because sometimes you got to let that stuff go. So many of us find ourselves in situations where we get sick, we take on getting cancer and, all these varying diseases. It's because you have some stuff stored up in you that you never addressed. You didn't let that stuff go. You got to let it go. And if it means somebody's got to take those shots or shots fired, so be it.
Well, let me tell you, nobody understands that sentiment more than a comedian. That's what a comedian does. Like he's saying that thing that everyone 90% of probably thinking or thought of or been through, and he's just saying it out loud through the microphone and the speakers and hitting you in the face with it. So we totally understand that. I think that people do need to understand that that's a human flaw that's as much easier said than done overriding. The flaw of we have this thing where we're always looking for the right time to do something, especially if it's bad. If it's bad, we always, it's not the right time. I'm gonna tell them during this. I'm gonna find this, that. That's a flaw and a mistake. I could tell you that from firsthand. And it's funny because it just can't. I was watching this. Let me recommend show recommendation. I always find a good show. I put it out there. The Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount. Make that's a must see. It's probably jumped ahead like the number one show to see. That's how good it
Okay.
is. Like when I tell you all these good shows, the Mayor of Kingstown. Now, and the funny thing is a scene in there where the one dude, the character, comes home to the house with the mom and the wife, and he is just leaving. He's a cop, and he's leaving a scene where a meth lab blew up, and he had the unlikely pleasure, if you will, or unpleasure of seeing a baby's body burn to a crisp. So he's all messed up, right? He gets home and he's barely talking to them. He's like I'm just going to bed, go to the shower, rinse this blood off and blah, blah, blah. And the lady's like, but I got to tell you something. He's like, I don't want to hear that. She's like, but I guarantee it's going to make you feel good. She's trying to tell her husband she's pregnant. We're going to have a kid. It's a happy moment, but he's coming from where he's coming from. And she pulls back like, well, I guarantee you to make you feel better. He was like, I don't want to hear nothing good right now. I don't want to even feel better. And he goes upstairs and she turns to the mother for advice. And it's like, and she's like, what are you going to do? You going to tell her? She's like, well, it's not the right time. And she's like, it's like, babe, there is no right time. Like, it's just the time. And it's one of the profound moments, in that thing when I seen it, that hits home that's a human flaw that we have. I mean, it's not meant to be a bad flaw, but it ends up being a flaw because if you think about this, let's flip it into a Motivation Monday style of what we're talking about. Now we're talking about loved ones giving each other news or breaking the news or whatever, announcements. Look at it on this side. Look at all the people who took that leap, I don't know, to be an entrepreneur, to take classes and go to school, to any big opportunity in their life. I mean, just jumped up to travel, whatever. Jump out the window. And it wasn't that time necessarily. But then you fast forward 10 years, look where you are now. And I'm sure like a Jeff Bezos has been in positions where people thought he was crazy. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. And fast forward, then they're going to the moon for lunch. You
Facts.
understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
So if you look at that same, that's why I call it a flaw personally, because when you work a lot like me and you're a workaholic and like to dive into work and make a lot of things happen, you can't be caught up in this ain't the right time or this the time, blah blah blah. You have to. Opportunity presents itself. Opportunity doesn't get a copy of your schedule. Opportunity doesn't get your medical report. Opportunity doesn't get anything other than the window of opportunity. That's what they call it. They call it a window of opportunity because there's this opening that you can get through and try to make something happen. You have to apply that. And once you start applying that more times than not, you start to break down that little flaw, that little mental, emotional flaw that because of us being human, it kicks in a lot of the time. And we follow that into the decision-making or non-decision-making because you didn't think it was the right time.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And again, I think that, talent makes an absolutely powerful, point there. That is something that, we have to work on, so often on so many levels. I mean, yes, you look at it like you said, it could be an entrepreneurial thing, but sometimes in life, just in general, like you said, opportunities present themselves, and we all have been in moments where we didn't jump on an opportunity and then we regretted it later. Every last one of us, that because that happens, quite often as well, and then you kind of like, I knew, but I was scared or whatever. Faith becomes such a uh oh faith becomes such a cool thing in terms of really understanding how powerful taking that leap can be. Um I was looking at something earlier today, this morning when I get up, usually when I get up in the morning at 6, I get on Facebook, I get on Instagram, and I kind of look at various things. But I was looking at something this morning, and pretty much in a nutshell, it was saying how imperative it is for you to understand that your train of thought and or your energy towards whatever it is you're trying to strive for is so important in the final product. See, most people think that, to something that you mentioned a second ago, it's all about all the meticulous stuff. So this
Yeah.
isn't perfect. That needs to be perfect. But a lot of it is really just adding the energy and or, like you said, taking that first step. Because once you take that first step, believe it or not, the way the universe is set up, it's always going to give you other steps to take after that. One way or another, it always is going to be able to do that for you. The thing is, as those steps become, apparent to you, what do you do with those steps is the big question. And that's what makes it such a, paralyzing thing for so many people because I know for myself, even personally, I've asked for things and I'm like, oh, it's going to take some time and it come instantaneous. I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa. I wasn't expecting it this soon. I didn't think it was going to come here right now. I thought maybe down the line, maybe a week, a month from now.
You see, but it depends on what you believe the energy to be in the universe to be. I know people that believe two sides of this coin, right? I know people that believe, like what I just said, like opportunity come, the window open, you got to jump on it, blah, blah, blah. And then I know some people that believe, like, if it's destined for them, if they are destined to do whatever, and it might be a Wednesday, but like, I don't feel like taking opportunities today. I'll be ready in a few weeks, not today. And they feel like whether it's a few weeks, months, or years, that's their destiny. They will still be bestowed this thing, whatever it is, whatever this thing is. And that's the difference to me in true faith and belief than it is to just, like, oh man, I gotta get it because it's right there, or I'm not gonna get it type of thing. Well, speaking of people who follow these things, our guest is in the living room and backstage in the living room waiting, and we're about to bring him up. But first, Amir and myself have to bring him in. Right, this is a Boston native.
Boston native. Yes. Look, ladies and gentlemen,
So
this is Boston personified. What's so funny? To be honest with you, me and T, do several lives and all kind of beautiful stuff together. And we true New Yorkers to our hearts. Like we cheer for all our New York teams: Knicks, Nets, Jets, Bulls, Giants,
facts,
Buffalo, Islanders, Rangers, you name it. If it's New York, we rep it. This
facts.
dude reps Boston the exact same way. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen a black guy who represents Boston in this way.
Well,
So
I've
for
seen a
that
couple. I've seen a
alone,
couple, but I've never seen six black guys on on the stage at the American Music Awards battling the other people from cross town, because this is all Beantown. This is
yes,
Boston on Boston. New Kids on
yes,
the Block
yes.
versus
New
New
edition
Edition. It went down at the awards.
at the American Music Awards.
Pete,
And if
bring
you
my
if
man
it
in from the Humor
yes,
Mill. He's here with us today, Amir. Bring him in here. Frank Holder,
Frank
ladies and
Holder,
gentlemen.
aka
Frank
the
Holder.
principal, aka the principal. If y'all haven't tuned into the show, the Humor Mill and Box Seats every day between 1 and 2 p.m., first of all, you're missing an incredible, incredible show. This man here came up with such a brilliant idea to do what unfortunately we mostly do in barbershops and supermarkets and trains around the world. He decided to bring it all full circle and just
Yes,
do it
sir.
so that could have a normal platform where they could talk about sports because we are so enamored with sports as a whole,
Oh,
in
let
this
me let
country.
me read this text somebody just sent in as soon as they seen Frank. It said, "Tell him I don't love her. I tried to tell myself, but you can see it in my eye." Hey, Frank. First of all jokes aside, it was hot. Amir brought up a point off air. New Edition looks solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They look.
Did you
Did you
did you
see it,
see it,
Frank?
Frank?
I saw a clip of it literally about 30 minutes ago because it's all in the
I
news.
just
I'm
thought
trying
same
not
thing.
to watch it.
No, you have to see it because
You
first of all,
gotta
it's
watch it,
history.
Frank.
First of all, it's
It
history. You
really
got to
was
watch
though.
it.
Yeah.
It was really good though. I'm laughing because it sounds funny, but when you see it, the way they did it, they killed it. They crushed it. Both groups
Yeah.
crushed it. They intertwined. Amir made a funny joke though. He said the sad thing is when you put the black next to the white, you see how some people crack him more than others. He said New Edition looks solid. They upholding, they aging well. New Kids on the Block. It ain't nobody in under 58. 58 years old was the youngest one. 58.
Well, you know how they say, man, some people age like milk, but I ain't gonna go there. That's
Right. Well, we're
ain't
here
gonna
on
go there.
Motivation Monday to say all positive stuff anyway. Now, this is
Yeah.
Frank Holden, ladies and gentlemen, founder, president, CEO, all of the above from Humor Mill. Now, what I wanted to get the people to understand, first of all, we want to give you your flowers while you're here, brother, because this
I
ain't something you
appreciate
woke up the last Tuesday doing. A lot of people don't see the work that goes into everything you do.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, just by being in the business doing what I do, I can only imagine all the work and the moving parts that you got to deal with that the people don't get to see. So give you your flowers here. Kudos to Frank Holder.
Yes.
We appreciate you and bringing forth the Humor Mill. So in that light, I got a lot of questions. I want to say, like, what is the overall Humor Mill conglomerate? Because it's more than an app. It's more than one TV show, magazine.
Okay.
You got a lot going on. Can you take us from, what you thought it to be starting and what it's like kind of blew into right now?
What I started out was an email campaign. That was 14 years ago. You might have remembered this, talent, because you was on the email chain.
I know.
I was trying to do emails at the time, and Shang, I was trying to do the Comedy Awards at the time and trying to get this thing started up, the Comedy Awards. And make a long story short, somebody stole the Comedy Awards idea from me, and people didn't know it wasn't me. I saw it on BET, like, oh wow, the Comedy Awards is coming. Now, mind you, I had been working on it for like 4 years prior. And instead of emailing everybody individually, I sent out one big email blast. My wife said, you should just name it something. And, instead of, giving people the name updates of what comedy was, I called it Humor Mill. I had no idea it'd be what it is today. So, it started from an email. Right. Then it went from an email to a website, and from a website to a digital magazine, from a digital magazine to a broadcast linear channel, which is in 12 million households in the United States right now. I'm on several OTT platforms. I'm on Roku, Apple, all that. But I'm also trying to get it on Comcast, which looks like it's going to happen, DirecTV. Right. So, basically when you sit down, you click and you watch it, because now, as we all know, people don't read anymore. So the magazine business started going one way. And, I had to adjust. And I didn't realize I was sitting on all this content, and I know all these comics, and there is no Black Comedy Central. So I'm like, why not? You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. So Box Seats is one of the shows, but I'm doing 3 or 4 shows every day. You know what I mean? Like it's constant. You all know I got to do Box Seats, got to help put that together, and they got to edit it. And especially when y'all be cussing, that give me more work. I'm like, please don't swear. I just got to add a couple more times. I got to.
But hold on, cussing is an added hazard because we all working from home.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if we went into a studio, you wouldn't have that problem. But everybody there was like, man, fuck all that shit, man. You're so comfortable, you know what I mean? And God forbid we take an edible or smoke a joint. So hold on. Here's my thing. Now, Humor Mill, I'm glad you laid out the leaps, because that's a lot of leaps right there. So now we're here where we are. We got different shows. We got the channel. We broaden the horizon by getting with the Comcast and the other big companies, so that streams in more households. Now, even with that going, because I know how you think, your brain don't stop here. You know what I mean? Yeah. You fell on your back because you was thinking too much, and the weight went to the back of your brain and flipped you that, and that's how you hurt your back. I know they don't have to know that, but I know that's what happened. So with all that going on, what's the favorite part of all you do? In other words,
the favorite part.
Yeah, because editing is like work sometimes,
It's always work. The favorite, what the favorite part is? The favorite part to me is finding a new comic who nobody knew about, who's hilarious. You know what I mean? That's the favorite part. I love to laugh. I love spontaneous comedy. I love being on the groundwork, seeing these comics who literally, like Talent is one of those comics who instant, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, and never the same. You know what I mean? I love that. Like, what I don't like is people who rotate jokes and try to put them in conversations and everything else. But I don't like that. I ain't gonna say no names. I don't like that.
So Frank, you don't open the can right there. Have you ever approached somebody
and said what?
Or you just always like, in my business, like somewhere you hear some material being regurgitated or switched up through conversation and all that? Have you ever had that conversation?
Oh, I've had it a lot of times.
Really?
But I say, yeah, I've said it. I start out the conversation by saying, original material does wonders. It really does work. That's how I started out. So they know, I know that you stole jokes and everything. Because, you know, people have been stealing jokes for years. You know what I mean? But the internet got a lot of people busted. You know what I mean? Because comics used to travel from the north, especially when I moved to LA. Comics would travel in the East Coast and then go to LA, hit the LA stages, and then say the jokes they heard on the East Coast, and people would act like, "Oh, that's a Brit." Nah, you know. Then I was traveling back home. I was like, "Ha ha ha."
You know what's funny? He's right. It was a coastal thing, a city thing, geographically, and it was a race thing. So a lot of guys, and now the new thing is that they came into it as of, I say, the last decade, like a gender thing. So a black guy was still a white material because he knows ain't nobody on this side talking about it, and vice versa, because the white guy knows ain't nobody talking about it over here. So now it's gotten so bad that, and I seen this recently, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I've seen somebody listen to a woman have a nice little funny bit, and all he do is take all that and put himself in her shoes and flip the gender part of it, so you think it's happening to him as a man when it, you know, happening. And we caught the dude. One part he didn't even bother to fix. Sounded like he had a vagina. It's like, you gotta take that part out.
The funny part is the stupidity level of some of these comments. Like, bro, you do know there's the internet, and you do know on the internet people say a lot of their jokes. So I don't have to be on the East Coast versus the West. You know what I mean? Like when I bumped into Dane Cook years ago, when Dane Cook was just exploding. I mean, he was turning hot. You know, and I bumped into him at the Laugh Factory, and he had everybody rolling. And when I tell you this dude was doing 20 minutes of Richard Pryor, I was like, I'm looking at this dude like, are you serious right now? Doing a good 20 of Richard Pryor, like, and people didn't even know at the time. And like you said, it's gender, and of course it's race. So a lot of these white folks who were younger at the time had never heard of these Richard Pryor jokes, and he's doing a whole set. Not to call out one dude or anything else, you know, but he already got busted by it, so I put it out there. People already put him on blast. So it's not like I'm giving you something new, but you get my point.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say I've seen it happen before, and then as the years went on, I would just start out the conversation by saying, you know what, new material does wonders. You know what I mean? New and talent. Tony Roberts, Mike Epps, maybe two more guys. These guys have more jokes stolen from there and style than most comics I've seen. In you know, there's a good 5, maybe a good 7 who people steer their content. You know what I mean? They go to other sides of the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know you don't about firsthand.
No. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about, because in this thing, like everything else, every 25, 30 years, there's a shift in you get what we call another blueprint of how to do something. You know, we're always, ingenuity's American way. So now us guys who have 30 or better under our belt, and we're still active in the game, we're a target because we're the blueprint. You know what I mean? The problem is you're still out there working. You're actually, like one dude said it one time, you know, they call it like, if you're young and this guy's still beasting, you want his throne, but you can't legally beat this guy off his throne. You know, you look at him like as being in the way. He's in my way. I'm not in your way. Funny is in your way. How about you find that nigga? Find that nigga, implement him in your set.
But the problem is 80% of you guys are not on social media the way these young cats are. So and they're getting bigger followers in a bigger camp. And people don't realize, just because you might have 4,000 or 5,000 followers or 10,000, you know what I mean? These other guys got 100,000 followers by using your jokes and acting them out in sketches. You know what I mean? That's the difference, especially, you know, from the gender thing.
Frank, I got a question for you.
I don't mind take the whole. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, and this just has to do with, you know, you building this whole social media platform, or this media platform. Now, when you first started in this, were you on the side of media, meaning writing and so forth and so on, meaning like, you know, beat writing and all that kind of stuff? Or are you a former comedian who saw an opportunity to build something that you, like you said, hadn't, you know, you didn't see out there for the world to be able to, you know, partake in? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I went to school. I'm a broadcast journalist major. I love comedy. I didn't have the courage to get on stage. I saw a lane after my wife gave me the idea of saying, you know, you focus on that lane, but I always was trying to do a comedy awards. That was my thing, like comedy awards and everything. So I stayed in that lane, but I never tried to do stand up because honestly, bro, I applaud people who have the courage to get up on stage. Like that's my flaw. I don't have the courage to do it, but I take I'm the media guy. I do the writing, I do the research, I go do the pictures. People in LA saw me a lot of times with a camera because at the time before everybody was taking their phones, I had a camera. I was going everywhere taking pictures of everything. I got pictures back before Facebook started, all people doing things. Chris Rock here with Eddie and Richard Pryor. Like I got those kind of pictures. You know what I mean? I need to put out a picture book.
I was about to say, yeah, but you need to not stop that too. Like that vintage picture taking, because this digital thing is one thing, but that what you get from that vintage camera, that real good camera. I got my son, he's doing it now. My son be at all the shows, he'll whip the sucker out, pause, and be like, do. You don't even, next thing you know, you don't know till you get it. Like, damn, this is different. When I get that picture, as opposed to what we take with the cameras, it'd be way different. So I wouldn't stop doing that at all. No, but I mean, when you said the whole thing about the follow thing, to me, it's different approaches, right? You got guys out here that are, new to the game. If I'm new to the game, hell yeah, I'm going for all the follows I could get, all the this, that, the third. And then you got people that put their footprint in the game who got what I call the Anita Baker approach. Anita Baker ain't gonna never drop another commercial album. She don't need to.
Right.
Her fans grew with her. They followed her, the loyal ones anyway. Let's say out of 80 million people who bought Anita Baker music, you got 1 million that's a real following collectively. Mm-hmm. So she's able to make millions and millions of dollars just touring all the time. I love that. It's just like I ain't never been in a rush to do nothing big because that's the Morgan Freeman effect. This nigga did 30 years electric company before he got to play God.
Right.
Think about that. Think about that. The nigga went from run. He was that. He was that nigga.
That's true. That's true.
And now look at him. He's the synonymous most busiest guy. Well, Morgan Freeman is in more movies than everybody. Half of the shit is just his voice.
Yeah, you got to remember this too, because Hollywood is always trying to be ahead of the curve and up that and everything else. They are throwing money at these cats too. They're throwing a lot of money at these cats. Now, if money ain't your thing, and you ain't, I get it and everything else. But for example, I'm gonna use this as an example because my man called me the other day. Literally, I think it was Thursday or Friday. He was like, "Yo, you ain't gonna believe this. What?" He said, 2 weeks ago, I was in somewhere out west. I was all right. He said, Tony Roberts sold 6 tickets. I was like, really? He said, yeah, but this new social media cat, on a Saturday, he said, this new social media cat who's not even strong on stage, he sold out 3 months worth of tickets, and they keep bringing him back. I was like, are you serious? So that's the problem now because these promoters, Hollywood, everything else keep taking these kind of comics and push them up front thinking, you know this. Because you're a social media comic does not mean you're a stand-up comic. It's two completely
but they're slowly learning it. Like I'm out there all the time. So one thing I'm watching that they're slowly learning it. When I talk about the not so much the promoter himself, he don't really care because he's venue hopping. But the comedy clubs per se, they're slowly getting it because when you throw a show, getting the show up is only half the battle. What happens to get the show down is the other half. So I could throw a show tomorrow, put it up for sale on Eventbrite or whatever, sell the shit out, 500 tickets. And then they go there and it's Junebug from IG, from Instagram. And he's fucking horrible. He's stinking up. People get mad, boom, boom. Now I got to deal with 500 irate virtual customers. The worst customer you can have in this line of business is virtual because you don't have control over that money. When you pay me in cash, I put that shit away. It's going to take a lot to get this motherfucker back. I got it. But virtually, this is not your control. You're a merchant. You know what I mean? So the merchants who are charging stuff and all that, it's not the same now. So now what I'm watching is a couple of times in Atlanta, I forgot the guy's name. They brought the end of the dude out. Same thing what Frank said. 2-3 times in a row. Crashed. Like outselling shit, adding shows. When he come back on time number 4, now this was only a 2.5 year spent. Now he's back on time number 4. He has nothing fresh. They heard the joke 10 times. Half of it, this guy was drunk or out of it, or whatever the case may be. They ended up when the weekend was done of 5 shows, whatever they brought in, they end up giving about 40% of that money back to refund people. Don't get me wrong. You got people that come out and just chalk it up to a loss. But then you got these people, especially virtually, no, I need my money back.
Right. Well,
so they're slowly getting there. But you're absolutely right. I mean, that's what but that's what the club has always been. That's why the deals, comedy clubs have a history of shitty deals. They want everybody and their mother to play it, but they don't want to pay it. So, stuff like that always makes me laugh when I look at the difference of the business part of it like that. And then when you put ass in the seats, they'll go up in your money and they're still raping you because you're still not getting nowhere near your worth. You're not getting half of the house or anything like that. You know what I mean? And if it's you're telling me I got to put asses in the seats, then you should pay me for putting asses in the seats.
Yeah.
If it's just come and perform is one thing, but if you're saying with asses, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, but you're putting people in the seats, right? For your smaller base, but the people they give more respect to the guy who's the social media guy who comes in and he's putting people in the seats, but he's not making those people happy. So at the end of the day, if you're the comedy club, you should be looking at it from a perspective of a return customer. If the customer wants to return, and that's the way you should be looking at it. Now, a lot of them aren't. Now, I'm telling you right now, the Desi Banks show and everything else is selling out like crazy and everything else. But I had more people complain. Now, I've never seen the brother on stage, but I've had more people complain and send me emails and stuff like that saying, yo, I don't know. I know online he's a singer, a rapper. He's a comic. He's one of the best comics out there. He got 1 million something plus thing. He's signed by CAA. He's making movies and everything else. But when it comes to stand up, everybody's upset.
Well, I would give him, out of all these internet dudes, I would put the meter right up and down the middle, meaning he's not horrible, but is he ready? He's neither ready nor horrible. Now I done went to some joints where some people are really decent, and I went to some where you can crash and burn this whole fucking club down tonight. I don't want to put nobody else in here because they're that bad. Desi's he's in that 50 percentile in the middle.
Yeah, well, I hear a lot of things about Desi because he's getting the movie deal, he's getting everything else. But again, that's what brings up the whole point of this conversation is when I started doing this thing, social media wasn't there. Social media now has changed the game. When I started, my database of comics was 300. Now I'm up to like 12,000, 13,000 comics. You know what I mean? Who are out now? Are they real comics who are working? And no, there are people who are working doing a regular 9 to 5 during the week, and they do comedy on the weekends. You know what I mean? But there's still a lot more.
You're an OG in this shit, bro. You when you started this shit, porn stars had mustaches. So that's what I'm saying.
Like this.
We are ready.
That's classic. Oh, that's great stuff.
You're real OGs in this. Question for you, brother. We just wanted to give you flowers and say kudos, but the bigger question is, what is the future of Human Mill on top of what's already going on? Anything we should look out for? And tell the people how to get the app and all that.
Well, you get the app, you can download it. It's on anything. It's on Google Play. It's on Apple. It's on Android. You can download the app and everything. I'd appreciate you. We got some big plans up. Like I was talking about Comedy Awards, like I've been talking about that. We finally are able to get to that space. We're going to broadcast the Comedy Awards next year. We're still putting it together right now. And then we also putting together a festival and a couple of other things that's going to help expand the brand. And we would love to be able to do some things in 10 major cities where we're giving back with food and toys and things like that. So we're planning on all of that right now. So that's what I have on tap along the lines of what we're already doing. As you know, it's not just me. It's 4 of us right now, but it's still a lot of work. Everybody's doing their thing. So I appreciate you having me on the show to be able to talk about this. And, talent. I'm glad you got the new edition out now thing. So now I don't have to hit tomorrow.
Oh, that shit coming back up. Salute you, King.
Thank you, brother. Y'all appreciate you.
All right, man.
All right,
that's my man, Frank.
Yes, Frank.
Human Mill. Amir.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow
I'll be wide awake too. I get my hair cut.
And really, really ready to get him. Like I said, I was laughing because last night, like I said, when it was brought to my attention, it was like, yo, you got to check out. So I was like, all right, I got to check it out. I'm sitting at home. I really don't watch any of the award shows too tough anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Much more so because I don't really know these artists and the music isn't as heartfelt to me. I'm not saying that it's not good. I'm not saying that it's not great or whatever the case may be. It's not heartfelt to me. I will say this because, like you said, you got a chance to watch it. Please tell me you watched how funny it was to see the new generation who couldn't really keep up. Like the Asian kids that are the new hot kids, their dancing was terrible. There was that lady with her little son. I was like, this is just sad. Like, y'all can't even feel this music. Like, what are we doing here? Like, are y'all serious?
Well, first of all, I was traumatized because they brought out JB Smooth from North Carolina. I was like, I was stuck. I was stuck with this thing for 20 minutes.
Just watching. Him and his wife. You saw him get up and dance. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Plus the way that they set it up now with the, obviously, yes, you want to be mindful of, whatever. So they got the seating. But when I tell you it just doesn't have the oomph it's supposed to me. I'm
But
like,
I think that's
not
award
fun.
shows, bro. I think
Yeah.
award shows, that's a good thing to talk about because I was saying what you saying when I was sitting there by myself with the dogs. I'm just watching and I'm like, I can't tell you the last time I sat down and watched an award show. I can't tell you because of
Complete
many
show.
reasons. Some of the reasons of what you said, but more importantly, when you love music, you respect it a certain way different, right? You move different with your music because you respect it. And when you watch award shows, what turned me off from award shows is it's sort of like even the Academy Awards or the Oscars, right? I could see it becomes the furthest things from reality now because we all
Yes.
live this music, right? So we know the reality of it. And I respect it too much to watch a show where you try to make your vision the reality. And it's not. Like you're clearly giving away awards and letting people win for political reasons.
Yes.
So
Yes.
after seeing that once, twice, 10 times, then it's like I don't even want to watch it no more because what are we doing here? Like, and nowadays, and again, I don't care if you're gay or not because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the forcing of the agenda everywhere now. Now it's so goofified now. Like, my man, I forgot my man's name, but he got a couple shows on or whatever. And gay dude, openly gay dude, real flamboyant, very entertaining, very good at what he does. But when you see how they blast them out, it's sort of like blasting the old cannonball out the cannonball with the extra colors and the extra this and everything over the top. So now, and then you put the winners in brackets that go along with the script. So that's the word.
Yes.
Script. I don't want a
Yes.
script. It should be organic and real.
Thank you. And it's so funny that you even say that because to your exact point, and especially when it comes to social media as a whole, I always smile about it because, like you said, now everything is so in your face. And I remember as a kid watching shows like what was the show Robert Guillaume was on? We was
Oh,
the butler.
Benson.
Benson.
Yeah.
I remember watching Dynasty when Dynasty was Dynasty, and I'll never forget the night called Homegirl a Bitch on national TV. We was all appalled. Did she say bitch? You know what I mean? Like it's so crazy that now, to your exact point, this stuff seems so passe compared to what they're, technically shoving down the throats of the American public and kids and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow. I said, what happened to letting people find stuff, in ways that they could digest it properly
Live.
versus, yeah. You
Just
know what I
live.
mean?
No, we don't do that no more. Now, whatever it is now, and if you think about it, it's in your cell phone, it's in your email. I don't let nobody live. I'm over the top. What do they call entrapment is what it is. You know how you say in the police terms, right? Like, that guy's whatever, but he's not doing it. But if you put something in front of him, he do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you go through
Yeah.
this entrapment thing. Yes, he ends up taking the bait and biting it. Boom, you got him. But you kind of cheated.
Because you
Yes, I'm saying.
exactly.
So that's what's going on in society to me. Like, okay, yeah, we know gay people exist, men, women, trans, and this and that. We've made that notification. So as it comes out, let it come out and be naturally and organic the way it comes out. until one day, just like letting black people loose from slavery, motherfucker. Like eventually one day you'll be able to walk around with the other motherfuckers and you'll be able to blah, blah, blah. Why is it our plight? I hate to say it, but those 400 years ain't shit no more. People act like,
if like you said, it needs immediate attention and/or gratification, and especially the letter community, much more so than anybody else on the planet. And like I said, and we've talked about this, on earlier shows and different shows, we've been around long enough to have seen the letter mafia since we were young. Family members, friends, you know what I mean? Like, and I only say it that way because it's interesting how something can start off one way and then, time and time again take on different connotations. I call them the letter mafia now because, in all fairness, it seems as though if anybody has anything that doesn't, to your point, lend to their agenda and go along with their agenda, then they're against you and they want to see you canceled. And you're like, wait a minute, y'all got a whole movement by yourselves. Why are you worried about why are you not allowing other people to have their movements as well? You got one, let other people have theirs. We can have more than one movement going on at a time. It doesn't have to. Everything doesn't have to, definitively fall in line with one movement. We can have multiple movements, but it appears that because now they've gotten traction and because now the world as a whole has said, they exist and this and that and the third, everything has to be addressed right here and right now. And I'm like, what? Like, why? First of all, in back in the days, and you and I laugh about this and we joke about this, and especially you, because being a comic, it comes from a different space and place. But the names and terminology that we used to have for, some of the men and women, in that lifestyle back in the days, you can't say now. People say it's offensive, this, that, the third. And we was like, that's all we know. How's something going to be offensive when that's all you know, or that was the terminology for what it was? Now, you can get in trouble, quote unquote, for pronouncing or calling somebody the wrong pronoun. Look, how am I supposed to know what pronouns you're going by? The rest of us go by actual names. That's talent. I'm Amir Sealy. I don't go, this is the talent. This is talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the weirdest. I swear it's like one of the weirdest things in the world to me. And I only say that because I hear it now much more so than any other time where people are really getting into these arguments about that. You call me the wrong pronoun. Well, look, if you were born with a penis and you've decided to change to a female, unfortunately, to the best of my ability, in this society, people with penises are known as males. I'm sorry that you have decided that being a male or anything having to do with being a male doesn't appeal to you and you want to be the other thing. I understand that. But, bruh, that's what you was born with. Why are you mad at me? I didn't have anything to do with that. I wasn't named for that part. Like, it's the craziest thing to me. I know I'm not trying to get us canceled, but I'm just saying, when I say it's weird because I really hear people getting upset.
You're right. It's a. But this is what I mean by the only reason you're hearing it more now than ever. This is what I mean by forcing the conversation and the issue. It's to me, you apply more pressure and cause more problems sometimes with force and friction. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers always say, man, lube it up. You know what I'm saying? have some respect. You know what I mean? You ask a grown woman, you're gonna have some anal. Say, lube that shit up, bro. So it's the same thing with this. You got a new thing. I want the world to know. I want the world to learn. I want the world to adjust. Okay, cool. There's a cool way to go about that. But the minute you start to force things and cause friction, let me tell you what happens with friction. People can't wait to do the other thing. Think about that. You was a child and adolescent once, and the quickest way to get that kid to do the wrong thing is to tell him to do the right thing. You yell at him or force him or threaten him to do this thing. You sometimes pressure bust pipes and go the other way.
Yeah. Naturalism
is on your side. I don't care who you are and what your agenda is. There is no way to push and force it. It turns people off. What do women always say about the guy in the club? The aggressive nigga, over the top.
Yeah.
Oh my God, women be like, they be under pressure. Half of them, the strong ones, they just upset and curse them out. But the ones who may not be as strong as them, they're fucking worried. Is this motherfucker gonna follow me home? Is he gonna rape me? Is he gonna bust me over the head with a bottle if I don't accept the drink or give him my number? Or Rodney Perry with those in the famous hands of Rodney Perry.
Right.
Cut it out.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, again, y'all, this is Motivational Monday. Me and the King Talent here, just giving y'all a few things as we always do every Monday to think about. We had our cool man Frank Hold On here. Like I said, if y'all haven't checked out the Humor Mill channel, please, please do. I'm telling y'all, it is. These dudes every day at 1:00. It is the funniest show you ever want to see in your life. And every now and again, they bless me with the opportunity to get on the show and join them. So it is just a really cool time with some cats who talk sports in a way like you've never seen, and they have a good time doing it. So
You know what I
please,
love about the show on the box seats when comics do shit like this? I love the fact that the story we get in there, we got all these stories and things to go over, but the story you think be the big story don't end up the big story, and then the little most smallest shit get blown all out of proportion. And that's what, but you see, that's the organicness that I'm talking about. It's like I know this, like the people that come to my comedy shows, pretty much for the most part, are what I like to refer to as very comedy literate, meaning when a person reaches the level of comic literacy, like they smart enough to differentiate funny from not funny, from scared to trying too hard, to enunciation, to timing. They've been watching a lot of comedy. They like comedy, and the people who like comedy usually will pay to go out and see comedy. While you paying to go to the hookah bar, or you paying to go to the New York Poet Cafe, or whatever your thing is, the Wi-Fi lounge, whatever. The people who pay to go to comedy on a regular, they're pretty comedy literate. So they know, but by watching comics, they easily can differentiate and go, hey, he's not that good. Oh, he's better, and blah, blah, blah. And they'll give you a whole breakdown of why and why not. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
It's organic. It's real. There's nobody forcing you, because what I just say, we can tell when you're forcing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the quickest way to turn somebody off or scare them after that.
Yeah. Again, or organic. We talk about that too. That's a somewhat of a lost art, or it's not being utilized as much as it has in the past. Fake has become such a badge of honor now, and for me, again, like I said, that's tough for me because I know for a fact we've seen too much of not only organic stuff, but we've seen things that have materialized in ways that you can't even begin to, believe. Going back again just to the AMAs, like I said, I watched that Asian group, and I know that they supposedly are, if I'm not mistaken, doing newer stuff and some kind of Motown, whatever. But it was just interesting because I'm watching these kids and I'm thinking to myself, so you mean to tell me we had to go all the way overseas to find some kids who know how to harmonize and sing? We don't
Oh,
we don't got
man.
kids we don't got kids in the inner city who know how to do that no more. Like are we and they're the biggest pop stars in the world, by the way, right now. Like literally they like some
Yeah.
of the biggest pop
Yeah.
stars in the world. And I just find it interesting because I know for a fact there's 16 or 75 internet cats who you could pull up right now who could outsing all 7 of those dudes. I think it was 7 of them or 8 of them, however many, who could outsing all of those dudes by themselves right now. And you like, there's no push to make this kid great or this young lady great. These guys get the nod, but it goes also to what you were saying about there being an agenda that is being pushed and a thing that people want to feel great about. If you even watch, because I watched, they won Artist of the Year, by the
Yeah, I
way,
seen
and it
it.
was up
I
against
seen it.
Drake and this one and that one, and I was like,
But again, this is why I don't watch award shows, because this agenda here, right, is, I'm gonna call this the kumbaya agenda.
mm,
Because in those other people's world, optics are everything. So in the AMA world, the optic is we're all, look at us. We're so multicultural. We're diverse. We're all getting along. All our music is music. It doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And to a guy like me and you, a traditionalist who sit and watch the same show, we're like, what is this? This is crazy. But it's because you're trying to give the illusion, the kumbaya, that look at us in music. We're all together. And I'm not saying you can't have a show where you play all types of music, but I'm saying that you're putting some things again, let's go back to literacy. You're putting some things next to some things and making it clear and apparent. And that's the problem. That until lies the issue. You know what I mean? You can't give away. It's like the magician doesn't show you the trick and then do it. He blows your mind.
Yeah.
Probably 100 times, or probably never let you know how you actually did it. That's what you got to do. You pull a rabbit out of the hat. You let it happen naturally, if it's gonna happen even. But all of this pushing and shoving. First of all, bro, I don't like to hit on nobody, but that's not a job for Cardi B. It was 3 times. I couldn't understand what the fuck she said. So
thank you.
Let me bring in.
I thought
you too.
I thought it was just me.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Let me bring in Cardi B interpreter. Sean Harvey's in the building. Sean Harvey.
Sean, what's going on, King? What's going on?
Hey, Sean, what the fuck was Cardi B talking about, B?
First of all, listen. So, first of all, you got knock it off, bro. Cardi B is from the Bronx, the BX.
I knew that was coming.
All the legends were in the Bronx, bro.
Right.
You wouldn't have your Yankee fitted if it wasn't for the Bronx.
You're right. Agreed.
You wouldn't have your white T-shirt if it wasn't for the Bronx.
Yes, right.
You wouldn't have your Uptowns or your Air Force Ones if it wasn't for the Bronx. Nobody in Mount Vernon would be on Section 8 if it wasn't for the Bronx. They started smoking Newports in the Bronx, New York. What? Jesus Christ was born on Annabelle in 164.
Hold on, fam. Ain't nobody disputing the legendary status of the Bronx. All I'm saying is the first time I watched an award show and couldn't fucking stand what Cardi B was saying. And mind you, right before I watched the American joint, I watched the Russian one. I got a little bit of that.
See, you guys are laughing and you're making fun of her and her intellect. Here's the point that both of you are missing. Cardi B, whatever you say about this young lady, she's been true to herself from day one.
No argument there.
She hasn't tailored to the masses, to corporate, to the music industry, to the reality industry. This woman from day one has spoke her mind, recklessly at times. Sometimes she hasn't made sense.
Right.
But one thing you would have to say about Cardi B, she's been Cardi B from day one.
But hold on. I beg to differ.
What?
I can argue with you. Let me tell you why I can argue with you on that. And this is gonna fuck you up, married man. If she herself, why she pay for those body parts? Don't make her lips. She got new lips. She got new hips. She got ass. She got titty and everything. How she herself?
She's herself.
Nigga, go to her library card. She is not herself.
She's actually a role model to the younger women in this generation.
Lord help us.
All right. Let me ask you this, Amir. Let me ask you a question. Good to see you, brother. Would you ever thought 2 or 3 years? Would you ever put Cardi B name in with the American the Music Award? You would never.
No.
You would never infuse the two.
I would. Obviously you never got a lap dance from her. But listen, we applaud. It's a milestone, regardless. Regardless if I couldn't understand a couple of things, that's a big achievement. So shout out to the Bronx. Shout out to Cardi B. But what I really want you to pop in for is because I want to give you flowers. You know what I mean? Right now for the Sean Harvey Morning Show.
Yes, King. Yes,
brother. Let me tell you something. I have watched that show grow.
Thank you.
Amir, you had a chance to tune in to a full morning show.
Yes.
Let me tell you something about this brother. I remember when he first started, and he would call me, T, you doing radio? How do I do this, that, the other? Should I do this, that, the other? Bruh, fast forwarding a couple years, man, listening to you, you have arrived in that game. You have an official morning show, bro.
Thank
and
you,
from
brother.
one dude that did morning and held it down and fucking led the ratings for years here in New York, I can tell you got something. You got something really dope. And it's at a point now, sometime, it's a few times I'm traveling and the joint come in my notification. I click it and I'm riding 2 hours with the Sean Harvey Morning Show. I'm like, this is good radio. You know what I mean? Where you got a man and they're abusing two women. It's just beautiful how you verbally.
Exactly. You know what? Before you finish, Amir, what are you doing tomorrow, man? I would love for you to, if you're available tomorrow, I would love to chop it up with you on my show tomorrow, bro.
Okay. About what time?
7:15. Nah, 7:30.
7:30. Usually.
If that doesn't work, let's put together a day and time, brother.
Okay. All right. We'll put together a day and time. Because in the morning, I'm usually leaving to head to work about that time. So I don't want to.
I'm telling you right now, Amir going to get fired. This motherfucker, he makes every show every time. Okay, gotcha.
Amir has been putting, I want to give my flowers to this young man as well. Amir has been putting in that work. I've been seeing him online. I've been seeing him chop it up. Even I was enjoying you, and thank you, T, for the love. I appreciate you, and thanks for listening. And I was listening to Amir on the IG Love Talk with B Love the other day.
Yeah.
And when he interject about the subject matter, it was hilarious to me because he was like, stop all the bullshit. This is what's really going on. Men want to watch football. They want women to be quiet.
Yeah.
I was in tears.
Was I lying though, Sean? Was I lying? And I was, because you know what's so crazy? Like, in all fairness between the two of you gentlemen, and like again, thank you for the props and praises. The one true thing that I'm finding, and it's only because thankfully we have all been around long enough to have multiple conversations with people of all ages, all walks of life, or whatever. And I realize there's a lot of things that we just have basically in common. And I know for a fact that most guys, we really just want to, like I said, it's two different worlds. Women want what they want and men want what they want. The problem is we never have that conversation. So everybody just assumes the other side knows what we're talking about. Nobody actually has the conversation. It's just she knows what I'm talking. No, she doesn't. You got to tell her. So this way she can argue with you. You can get mad at her and then go to Buffalo Wild Wings where you can do what you want to do. Because you're not going to get it in your crib. Not if you marry. That's not going to happen.
Now, you know what the point is? When men make great points like you did the other day, for some reason, women get upset when men make valid, good points. And I don't understand that. Just like the last week when I was on a B-Love show and we were talking about what men complain about with women. T chimed in, and he was absolutely right. I'm interjecting a point. T jumps in the box. I mean, and went right to the penalty box, out of bounds. He goes, I don't care what Sean's saying. He's married. He got to watch his words. All niggas cheat. I like to see like this. And he had on a baseball cap that said authorize this.
I'm done. I'm done. We over time, man. I gotta let you go. It's funny as hell. Sean Harvey, ladies and gentlemen, check out the Sean Harvey Morning Show on Facebook, broadcasting Monday through Friday. You're the best that ever did it, man. Keep banging, young.
My man. If it wasn't for the Bronx.
Yes.
Yo, first of all, dude is crazy. First of all, apologies again, a few minutes over. But I think we had a lot of imperative messaging in there today for people to take food for thought. Again, congratulations to Sean Harvey with the Sean Harvey Morning Show. That joint is riding real good. They got good subject matter, great topics in the morning. Check them out on Facebook. And speaking of Facebook, you can also go to the Humor Mill and see Frank's page where he broadcasts box seats. We do it 1 to 2 every weekday, Eastern Standard Time. You can download the Humor Mill app as well. Find them on your cable listings, everything. Like he said, he's about to finalize the deal with Comcast. Even more households, more households, more households. Well, this has been Motivation Monday. I'm your boy Talon Amir.
Yes. Hey, it's Motivational Monday. As always, like I tell you guys every week. First off, I also want to give a big shout out to my man Spank. He texted me during the show. That's who I was speaking of when I was telling y'all the whole story earlier today. That's my right-hand man. And he said it was all right to mention his name. So I'm gonna mention his name and give him his flowers. But I want to reiterate that again. Hey, look, guys, if you find yourself in a situation where, as Talent put it, you have to tell somebody the truth, you got to tell them the truth, because I'm telling y'all, holding that in can only do but one or two things for you: make you sick or make you crazy and depressed. Either way, those don't sound like places that you want to be. So get that out your system, say what you have to say, and allow yourself to, start the healing process and/or get to the space and place where you need to be. Secondly, we had, like you said, we had Frank Holder on here, Humor Mill. Check it out, 1 to 2 p.m. every day, box seats, dope. Sean Harvey, y'all already know. You see the dude came in. If it wasn't for the Bronx, that was so dope. So big shout out to Sean Harvey.
Yo, Sean is
This guy
crazy, man.
is my guy. He is doing amazing, amazing work this whole year. His 30 for 30.
Yes.
We may have to recap this in some weird way. This is going to be some kind of weird, video that y'all can see at some point, because this whole 30 for 30 has been crazy this year. Like, I really thought about it the other day, and I was like, I don't know if Talent knows how much work, not only and how much he's beloved, but this man has gone from place to place, and he's brought nothing but the best out, and he keeps cats working, and he keeps guys like myself finding things out about myself that I didn't even know existed. So I want to give him his props and his praise, because I tell y'all all the time, the one thing that you can say about this man right here is, if he sees something in you that you don't even see in yourself, he will most certainly bring it to your attention and do everything he can to help you cultivate it. So I want to thank you for that, King.
Oh, you got that, brother.
And then last but not least, as I tell y'all every week, you know my motto. It's nice to be important. It's much more important to be nice. Take that with you. Make the days count.
Oh,
don't count the days.
And don't forget, do not forget
that's my man, Lord Finesse. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what up, Finesse? Our guest for next week will be Mugga. My girl Mugga will be on the show. And she's from the hit show Manifest, Orange is the New Black, Power, all those type of shows. And she's going to tell us about acting, how to stay motivated. Some of you people out there getting your acting on. So don't miss us next week.
All right. We love you. As Talent always says, ain't nothing you can do about it.
Peace.
Peace.